Satguru Maharaj ki jai, Sache Darbar ki jai. Welcome and thank you for joining us today for this discourse. Today I wanted to speak about a great scholar and eventually a realized master named Narada. Studying the lives of people who have followed the spiritual path, seeing where they succeeded, where they failed, the questions they had, and the answers they received can help us on our own path. So let us look at Narada's life, at his search for truth. So Narada was a great scholar. In ancient India, there were 64 branches of knowledge: philosophy, mathematics, logic, reasoning, and many, many more. Narada had become an expert and master in all 64 branches of knowledge. He was so respected and so admired that he had thousands of students all throughout India. Wherever he went, people would sit and listen and learn from him. All throughout his life, as he went around teaching, helping people, he started thinking within himself that despite all my knowledge, still I have not found any peace. I am not happy. What good is all this knowledge if I cannot be happy, if I cannot be at peace with myself? Having this feeling, he couldn't shake it. One day he decided that he will leave all his schools and all his teaching to his disciples. They took responsibility for his schools and continued his work. In the meantime, he went on a search. Town to town, kingdom to kingdom, he traveled, asking the same question: where can I find peace? How can I be happy? Since he was famous and well known, many people saw him coming, heard his questions, and thought he was just being modest, he was being humble. They would say to him that you are the mine of knowledge. You know everything there is to know. How is it that you come and seek knowledge from me? Mostly he was ignored. These questions were ignored. He was treated with respect. He was welcomed. But that one question that was deep in his heart, he could not find an answer. Until one day, he came across the great sage, Sanat Kumar. Meeting him, he said to him the same he had said to everyone else. I have mastered the 64 branches of knowledge, yet I find no happiness, I find no peace. Sanat Kumar says to him, your thinking is absolutely correct. And all this knowledge you have gained, all these years you have spent teaching, it has only been trading in external knowledge. This knowledge is very useful. With the knowledge you have, you can earn a living. With the knowledge you have, you can earn respect. With the knowledge you have, you can live a very comfortable life. And most of the world is buying and selling this knowledge, trading in this knowledge, because most of this world wants those things. A way to earn a living, a way to earn respect, and something to do with their life. We need to keep busy. And everyone is trading in these knowledge. But this knowledge is not true knowledge. The only knowledge that is real, the only knowledge that will bring you happiness and peace in your life, is to be found within you. All external knowledge is based on speech. It is based on words. They are nothing but a collection of words, of sentences, strung together. But it is not the truth, and it is not true knowledge. In order to find peace, in order to find happiness, you must know yourself. You must find the truth within. You must know yourself completely. Narada asks, "Great sage, please teach me. What is this path? What is this knowledge? What does it mean to know myself completely?" With folded hands, he asked. Sanat Kumar continued. He said, "If you wish to know yourself, you must first examine your speech. Your speech is the way that your mind expresses itself. And your speech is reflected in your thoughts. So examine your speech. First, control your tongue. Stay silent. When you speak, speak sweetly. Speak no words that harm another. Do not speak harshly. In this way, you will progress and reach the realm of thoughts. When you hold your tongue, when you quiet your speech, the thoughts will increase. Don't be surprised. In order to quiet the thoughts, you will have to take the help of divine awareness, of the divine consciousness. At that moment, Sanat Kumar reveals to Narada the truth of the light of God within, the light of divine consciousness within. He initiates him into this understanding, into this realization. He says to him, after you have silenced your speech, put all your attention, all your awareness, let your mind be filled with the awareness of this divine light, and the thoughts will begin to subside. As you notice your thoughts subsiding, the power of determination will become apparent to you. What is the power of determination? The ability to decide. You will notice that the very act of thinking is under your control. The very act of thinking, you decide, you determine when your thoughts begin, where they end. So, if you attain this power of determination, you will gain control over your thoughts, over your speech, and over your actions. At this point, Narada was thinking. He said, "Revered sage, if this is true, why is it that when I determine something, that I want to do something, I cannot accomplish it? What is it that puts a stop to my determination?" He says to Narada, "You are absolutely right. Determination is always met with the roadblock of the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind, the subtle desire, what is it? It is the totality of your past impressions. Everything that you have ever thought, everything you have ever said, everything you have ever done in this life and the last comes together and forms an almost impenetrable fortress. That is why sometimes you say things that you don't want to say. You do things that you don't want to do. And you think things that you don't want to think. Alternatively, you don't say the things that you want. You don't do the things that you want. And you don't think the things that you want. Then Narada asks, how is it that these subtle impressions, these subconscious impressions, arise in my mind? Sanat Kumar says, these subconscious impressions can only arise if they are called. They arise following the rule of like attracts like. Prolonged contemplation on any topic will bring up these subconscious impressions. So, if you are going for a walk along a road, perhaps you've walked along that road before. And as you walk along, the memories that you have of that road, the experiences you've had on that road, they slowly come back to you. Or sometimes they come flooding back to you. In this way, when you contemplate on anything, the subconscious memories that you have arise along with it. Now, contemplation works in the negative and the positive. The one way there is to counteract this negative aspect of your past impressions is to instead contemplate on the immaterial. As long as you contemplate on the things of the world, on the things on this earth, on material things, then material past impressions will arise. But Narad, remember, your true past, the truth of your existence is that you existed before this in supreme bliss, but you have forgotten. In the same way that you can call back the subtle impressions of your negative past, you can also call back the subtle impressions of your blissful and supreme self, of the divinity latent within. You do that by contemplating on the knowledge that I have given you, on the initiation that I have given you. When you contemplate on the divine light within, then these subtle negative impressions cannot touch you. But the moment that your mind again contemplates on anything material, you become subject to the material past impressions. If you wish to be free from this, it is very simple and very difficult at the same time. Maintain your focus, maintain your attention, contemplate only on that divine light, only on the divine vibration within, and you will escape unscathed from the terrors of the subconscious mind. Hearing this, Narada was a little dejected. He said, all these years studying and teaching, I thought I was learning about myself. Are you saying that it was all a waste of time? All the studying and teaching, Sanat Kumar says, was not a complete waste of time. It was for your entertainment. It was to earn a living. And it was to keep yourself busy. So, Narad says, so should I just abandon all actions? Sanat Kumar says, no, you're missing the point. The point is not these surface actions. Your whole life you were involved in surface actions. They only scratch the surface of who you are. They might have stimulated you mentally, intellectually, but will not provide any lasting change or deep meaning to your life. That action taken with deep conviction from your soul will revolutionize your life, revolutionize your meditation. Because once you learn this thing, once you learn to take action from deep within and not on a superficial level, then every aspect of your life will take on a new meaning. Your speech will become powerful. Your thoughts will become powerful. The things that you think will come to fruition. Any undertaking that you begin will end successfully. But only when and only if you learn the secret of deep action, soul-inspired action that can only come about through deep meditation, through deep contemplation. But when you learn this secret, your life will be revolutionized and you will powerfully move forward on the spiritual path. Sanat Kumar further teaches Narada, Narada, you have come from bliss. At any time, no matter how lost a soul is in this world, how deeply, the memory of that bliss always remains. The urge to find happiness is the driving force behind every action, every thought, and every word of man. The charms and temptations of the world make the man forget of this eternal bliss that is sitting like a treasure within him. He strives and strives and strives. He decides to take some action, and when he decides, there's that hope that he'll be successful. And when you are successful and you gain what you were looking for, there's a moment of happiness, and that happiness fades. When the happiness fades, you try again. You take another action. You gain some more happiness, and it fades. Little by little, the failure to attain true happiness teaches us this lesson, that happiness is not to be found outside of ourselves, but it must be found within. As this lesson becomes solidified, as these impressions pile up, you start to think about finding another way, about finding a different way. And you think, let me turn within. But there is a great fear. The fear is that, how will I turn within? I will miss out on everything that's happening. And this is where faith comes in. This is where trust comes in. Before direct experience, you must trust and have faith in the experience of the sages who have come before you. Bravely turn your mind inward. When you can do this, it is called faith. And faith is a higher knowledge within itself. Faith has the power to loosen the fetters of desire and attachment that bind us to the earth and prevent the mind from going within. Narada asks, well, in practical terms, what should I do? What is the way? You begin with the food that you eat. On a subtle level, the food that you eat nourishes the body, mind, senses, intellect, and ego. Sattvic food, fresh, light, eaten in the right amount, eaten at the right time, and eaten with the right state of mind, provide nourishment and constitute pure food. Breathing clean air in a regulated and balanced manner nourishes the subtle body. Maintaining positive thoughts and a cheerful mind nourishes the mental body. And the awareness that everything denoted by my and mine belongs to nature is nutritious food for the ego. Purify your knowledge by knowing and understanding that nothing belongs to you, And thinking that something belongs to you is a grave mistake. Finally, remain always aware of your divine nature. Doing all these things, your memory will become sharp, and you will begin to remember the great bliss and divine light which are your origin. This light and bliss within you will grow and grow. The illumination will increase, and the full light of truth will descend, bringing you peace and happiness. Narad, now you know what the path is to attain peace and happiness, to return to the bliss from which you came. Following this path, Narada reached enlightenment, and everything he had been searching for, everything that was missing, was found. All he had to do was turn in the right direction. That was it. His whole life he had been gaining knowledge, teaching, learning, but all in the external world only. The moment that he turned within, he had begun on this path that leads to peace, to realizing your own blissful nature. If, like Narad, you are searching for peace, for happiness, and you have not found it, then ask these questions from a realized sage, from a realized master. Where can I find it? How can I find it? What is the way? Receive the divine initiation that reveals the light of consciousness, the divine light within, and meditate. Walk on this path. As you travel, the light, the illumination within will increase. Your desires and attachments will decrease, and the truth of your blissful nature will become apparent to you. Boliye Satguru Maharaj ki Jai, Sache Darbar ki Jai. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thank you.